listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily, Dean and Alan Cochrane this morning. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I'm melting.
Bit of sci-fi early in the show.
Bit of feedback.
Lovely.
Yes, so...
We've got Sarah standing in this week as show assistant, and I've already instructed her. She's doing the social media.
Oh, yeah.
All of my photography, I need the instant filter on the iPhone. Thank you.
You're not using the Vaseline on the lens anymore?
No, we've got filters now, darling.
It's a bit cold in the studio this morning. I know there'll be people listening to this on waste ground, but...
no, there won't.
In the digital era.
I imagine within about 20 to 25% of our catchment, but it is pretty cold in the studio.
Yeah.
Warming up,
I must say. What I really need now is a representative of the fashion industry.
Oh,
you there? Here's the thing.
All right, David Dimbleby.
How do you think fashions come about? Do you think people sit in a room and say, "Let's create a trend," or do you think they're accidental things?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Frank. I'm very glad you asked me it.
Yes.
There are such things as cool hunters, which you may be familiar with, and that is essentially their job, to go around and spot trends. Cool
hunters?
Yeah. I'm not surprised you're not familiar with them. Don't take that the wrong way.
No, of course not.
Ouchie.
No, but fashion just, everything is cyclical as well. So if you're...
You are.
Sorry.
If you're wearing it now, it will essentially come round.
I'll tell you why I asked this question.
Come on.
Because I was in my bedroom the other day in a shirt, like a dress shirt, you'd call it, collar, cuffs, kind of a shirt.
What was on the bottom?
I had trousers on.
Okay.
And it was a bit cold in there, to be honest. So I was looking around for something else to put on, and all I could see was another dress shirt. So I put that on top of the shirt I was already wearing. And you know what? I thought it looked pretty good.
Really?
Did you?
Now, is this a look that already exists, or have I invented the two-shirt look?
Two shirts?
I think we can say that's pretty much exclusively yours.
Yeah, it looked... it was... I mean, there was a hint of the Ant and Dec look of the very, very tight jacket and the tight shirt. But... I'd never seen anyone with two actual dress shirts on, and it looked okay.
Oh, I like the sound of it.
Yeah. And I was thinking maybe, this could be a thing you could wear too, and as the inner one got dirty, it could move and become the outer one, then you could put a clean one at core. So you always had a clean one close to your skin.
Yeah. Good for going to, like, a big dinner, if you think there's going to be a lot of splashback off the soup and... whatever else.
I suppose that is an option as well. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, it's like wearing a coat, you see. You've got the protection.
Yeah, but it looked good, I thought.
Do you want me to have a word with... I know people.
Yeah, see if I can generate... what I did as well was, in an experiment, I also had...
2 pairs of trousers on.
Well, I had the black shirt. Actually, it was charcoal grey, but it's black to all intents and purposes.
How specific you're being about colour. Well done.
By now, I was on a roll, as it were. So I put that on, but with button cuffs, and then I put a lighter shirt on over it with the sleeves rolled up, and I got that that sort of chimpanzee in a jacket look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got that. Which is a whole different... I think it's quite flexible, the whole two shirts thing. Try it at home. If any of our listeners own two shirts...
Yeah.
Try wearing one.
If any of them own two shirts.
Well, they are mainly on waste ground.
If we've got any members of the Lucky Club that own more than one shirt...
Try them both on. And you'll see, it's... Maybe that'd be a great way of spotting people who listen to the radio show, the two-shirt thing. They could be known as the two-shirters. Yeah, something I don't like about that either.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, and I should say a big speak out to Olivia, who was...
Speak out.
I don't like the shout out. I don't really shout.
Is this another fashion you've invented, the speak out?
Well, why do people say the
shirt.
shout out? Anyone on stage shouting, you need to worry about. I think anyone who comes on and says, "You're having a good time," have nothing to say. She was in Dublin the other night, helped me out with my act a bit, and I just
sounds good.
say thank you to her.
That was kind of her.
I was pointing out in Dublin that there's I knew an old Irish guy as a mate of mine, and
When you say mate, was that the Pernod years?
no, it was it could have been. They just slotted in neatly into that era. And I was talking about there's a certain type of older Irish man who, when he starts speaking, it sounds like a door opening. And I tried this in Dublin, and people seem to agree, so it must have, it was authenticated by people who were at the source, as it were. Most of them were at the source for most of the night. But when he spoke, he went... Yeah, so, I'll tell you what I did the other day, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's my spine.
What is that?
Yeah, it's my... did I tell you I've had a Gloria Estefan fitted? Oh, it's stainless steel. It's all right in the winter.
Nice obscure 80s reference there.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, Google it.
I didn't get it.
She's got
in a
an
coach
aluminium
accident.
spine. I thought it was a plane crash.
No, it was Coach.
Anyway,
She's gonna coach.
she's fine anyway, if anyone's worried. If we've got a hotline number, I think, for anyone who's... Well, it's a cold line.
No, she hurt herself badly.
She did, but she's fine. She's bounced back.
Okay. Anyway.
So I did an interview for Magic FM. Magic FM. That's
How did that go?
Well, obviously, because they're owned by the same company as this,
Yes.
it went brilliantly. But the lady on
Was it the breakfast show?
it was a lady who does their showbiz interviews.
Okay.
It was very nice. But how can I say this in a nice way? She's a bit of a chancer, is what I thought. So,
That's a very nice way.
Well, no, this is where it went. She did a very nice interview, and then she said, would you introduce your favourite Christmas song? And I said, okay. So I said, well, here's my favourite Christmas song, blah, blah, blah.
You didn't choose Blood, Wind, Pig, did you?
No. I actually went very, very Route 1 and went Paul McCartney's Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time.
Lovely.
Mainly because I saw him do it live once, and live it was actually brilliant. He gave it some. Who'd have thought that? Yeah. He rocked it up. I've often thought he should do that with a frog chorus. If he did like a real heavy metal frog chorus on stage, he could rewrite that. And then she said, "Oh, that's fantastic. Before you go, would you play our game? There's a game we do on the show called Word Up, where you have to I name a word, and you have to try and say what it is." And I said, "Okay, I will have to go in a minute." She said, "No, fine. Do you want to do that?" So the word was something like lollygogging, and I had to guess what it meant. I said, "Okay, that's fine." And then she said, would you do your favourite cracker joke as well? Well, I've got you. And I said, okay, but I will have to. So anyway, I did my favourite cracker joke, and then she went away, and then she came back into the studio, and she said, honestly, this is serious. She said, "You wouldn't put a penguin suit on, would you?"
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had some missives in relating to your hair, actually.
Mine hair?
Yes.
Farewell, mein lieber Herr. Come on, everybody at home. You've had a small affair, and now it's over.
We had a fine affair.
Yes, well, I'm helping them out.
We didn't actually have a fine affair, I hasten to add.
No, I thought it was a bit of a storm in a teacup.
Graham has tweeted us. He says, "I very much like how Frank wears a side parting for Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year, but for no other gig."
Yeah, it's a sort of a Phil Oakey thing I'm doing. Now, I can explain that. It's only actually one episode of Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the
is
Year.
it?
What happened is, while I was filming Doctor Who, I did that. And for Doctor Who, because we were supposed to be on the Orient Express in a sort of a deliberately retro thing, then I had to have a...
Oh, that lovely train, which I loved until they ruined it with monsters.
Yeah, well, I had to have a part in, like you might have in the 1920s.
Yeah.
But as I wore a cap for virtually the whole thing, in the end, it was all. But I think my hair looks as bad on that episode of Portrait Show as it's ever looked.
Do you?
Yeah, it's sort of. I tell you, it looks ribbed. You know how John Colshaw's hair looks like a herringbone jacket?
What's going on with his hair?
I think it is herringbone. I think that's what he opted for in the end. I think it's
Okay, here's
weaved.
the question. If you had to have this...
I don't mean weaved as in...
No, girlfriend's got a weave. You just mean...
No, I mean it looks like it's been made by
here's the
Scottish
choice.
women in a cottage.
Simon Cowell's hair or John Colshaw's hair? Which way are you going?
I'd definitely Colshaw's hair. I would be happy with Simon Cowell's. Is a. That is someone saying, I'm so rich I can do what I like.
It's quite sort of straight action man type hair, isn't it? Isn't it?
Frank calls it black shredded weave.
Yeah, it's not good. Actually, speaking, I mentioned the phrase there, storm in a teacup, which reminded me of something. I went to a Christmas fair recently, and it was really raining very, very heavily. And but I was with Kath and Boz. Boz is our 2.5-year-old. And Kath said, you've got to take him on a ride now we're here. So they had those things with the big, the big teacups that you sit on. So we went on one of those. And we were the only people on it because the weather was so bad. And I never used the storm in a teacup joke.
You never?
I mean, I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, what's happened to me? But we were on it, so just me and him sitting there, both sort of frozen and wet.
Oh.
And the guy, what they do, they sort of push the handle of the cup and make it spin a bit. He said, shall I, give it a few spins? I said, well, I don't know if you'll like it much. So he gave it just a couple of gentle spins. And I started to feel real motion sickness. I mean, in the cup and saucer. What's it going to be like when I'm at Alton Towers with him when he's 14? I'll just die. I will die on the corkscrew.
Don't go in the ghost train.
And I actually said to the bloke, I think that's enough for him, actually. And by now, my head was swimming. He looked fine. I mean, can you imagine if I'd been sick in the teacup?
I suspect you were still reeling over missing the storm in the teacup joke.
Yeah.
It was
he was actually reeling from that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that at that stage. But it was...
What are you going to do when you've got to go on the Incredible Hulk ride at Universal Studios?
I just can't do that. I've never been able to do those right. It's not an age thing. I hated them when I was a teenager. Well, they didn't exist, obviously, when I was a teenager.
I don't like it.
We just used to get a go in somebody's Spitfire. But, no, I don't know what to do. Maybe someone can suggest
just don't do them. They're very common rides.
Medication.
They are.
Okay, thanks for that. Goodbye, everyone.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was taken out for my Christmas lunch by my manager.
Nice.
Oh, lovely.
So, lovely.
What
And
did
we
you
went.
have?
What did I have?
Yeah.
I had.
Did he take you somewhere nice?
It wasn't
did.
It wasn't a Christmas lunch per se.
Oh no, it wasn't at Christmas. But don't call me per se. That's my stage name. But I tell you what, I always get on well with the cloakroom lady at these posh restaurants.
Oh yeah.
They always seem like they're from the real world. They're like the last little trace of the real world before you get into the inner sanctum where everyone is,
They've seen it all as well.
Everyone is hoity-toity.
Yeah.
So and also you trust them. You have to give it's a lot of trust to give someone a garment.
Yeah.
Of someone you've never met before.
Yeah.
And then so I associate them with trust, and I associate them with warmth. When you're leaving, they put a nice warm coat on you. Okay, it's yours.
If you leave a tip. Do you leave a tip?
Oh, I always leave a tip. Yes.
Me too.
Anyway, so I was leaving the restaurant. So I was gathering my cloak, as it were.
Of course you were.
And then I saw a lovely lady coming in, a very lovely lady. And
I'm not sure I like
You
where
should
this
see
is
the look
going.
on Alan's face right now.
and I thought to myself, that's Naomi Campbell, isn't it?
Shut up.
Yes, it was. It was Naomi Campbell. Do you know she had 2 shirts on?
She didn't believe it.
That's how quick it's caught on.
It's already over.
That would be
Yeah, it's already so over.
It was over when you played the last song.
When I was umpiring in LA, I used to say that.
Go on, so tell me about Naomi.
So Naomi appeared, and she's a bit of a Bobby Dazzler.
She's quite something in the flesh, isn't she?
She is.
I've had the pleasure.
So I haven't. I had one strange incident with her at the Brits some years ago. But anyway, she walked in and with some bloke who I didn't recognise. Turned out to be Paul Coyer, the former TV. No, it wasn't him. And she walked in, and the wardrobe lady went, "Oh, hello." She just completely.
You mean Coacher? You've worked in TV so long, you call everyone the wardrobe lady.
Well, yeah, the cloakroom lady. She went a really bright and hello. She's so. It was horrible. I couldn't. It was like watching a car accident.
No.
I really went. And I looked at this girl, and she looked back at me and gave me this little plaintive smile. I could have hugged her, but not in the current climate, of course.
No.
You can't risk that now.
No.
But it was and I wanted to say, excuse me, maybe you didn't hear. Maybe, no, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she's deaf, but I don't think so.
Oh, well, when I met her at Djokovic's dinner, she was lovely.
Well, look, you're in fashion. You've got to say she's lovely. I'm saying to this, if you imagine a seesaw, and on one side of it is beauty, and she certainly has that.
She does.
On the other side of it is politeness. I just want the politeness to be at least the same weight, if not a little bit heavier.
Well, that'd be good.
And if you're listening, Naomi, come on, go back there and say sorry. I mean it. Unless you're who does this guy think he is? Yeah.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what I did have. I was at... I had course to fly this week. And I was at an airport, and I got
Metal Bird in the Sky.
I got one of my problem people. You know the queue malingerer.
Oh yeah.
The people who are in a queue and they're not focused.
Hate them.
One of the rare things about a queue is one of the few occasions you are with strangers and you're all of a real common purpose, all focused, you're all going forward, you know what you want. And you get those people who are like looking backwards. The queue has moved, like there's a gap formed because the queue's moved, they haven't moved with it, and they're in front of you. And you're thinking, I really want to be with the queue. I don't want to be held back by someone who isn't committed. I had one of those. It's the most...
Do you mind queuing though, Frank?
I like queuing.
Oh, right, that's where you and I differ.
No, I like the fact that I feel like one of those occasions, you feel like you're all on the same hymn sheet. And then you get the person who's neither hither nor thither in the queue. And I'll tell you something else, because I had a bit of airport time. I've now decided that every time I'm at an airport now I'm going to read a book.
Len Dayton?
Any book.
Okay.
So many people, I know this sounds like a gripe from about 8 years ago, but so many people were on their mobile phones. I was really proud of the fact that I had a paperback book.
You had an actual book?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Good.
I really thought, can we just spread this a bit more?
Yeah.
I would be more sympathetic and I feel empathetic towards somebody reading Mein Kampf at an airport than someone reading their iPhone. I just think, oh no.
What book was it though? It wasn't your autobiography. How embarrassing.
No, it wasn't my autobiography. It was 50 Shades of Grey. It's my hairdresser's autobiography. No, it was... it's a thing called Engine Summer. You'd hate it, Emily. It's a sort of a...
Why?
It's a dystopian novel.
Oh, I love a dystopia.
Oh, do you?
Au contraire. I love a dystopia, me.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Do you like a dystopian novel? Text in 8 12 15. What's your favourite?
Great.
Come on,
really
favourite
like
dystopian novels. Kick it out.
this will be
Big
my favourite
readout.
texting if this takes off.
I reckon we'll get some. I bet we've got a lot of readers.
I'm going to
here
go
that like-
Memoirs of a Survivor, Doris Lessing.
Never read that.
No, I was in it actually, so...
Hang on.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
Just
more
write
is
that
lessing,
down.
that's what I always say.
Very good.
Yeah, thanks very much. This is by a bloke called John Crowley. I'd really, 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 really recommend it. It's a life changer.
Even though you haven't got to the end.
I'll tell you what is
No,
a
near the
dystopian
end.
novel, Frank. Day of the Triffids.
Oh,
To a
Yeah.
degree.
Weren't you? Do you?
Might be coming up in it.
Yeah, it's on
wow.
BBC 4 actually at the moment. If you'd like to catch Emily Dean.
How exciting.
I'm in
Day
it next
of the
week.
Triffids.
I don't know what day of
Is
the
it
week
really?
it is. Just
No, I know that.
FYI, I'm not very good. I won't lie.
That is. You're a child.
I know, but you've got to keep up standards, and I'm afraid I'm not very good. I was trying out a West Country accent, and then halfway through I just give up. You can't do that. You've got to be consistent with
I've
accents.
known people from the West Country who've done that. Don't feel bad about it. You know, Joe Haley Osmond. Who's that bloke? What's he called?
Oh, Sixth
that?
Sense. Yeah.
Haley Mills Osmond Donny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
him.
know, I see dead people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see dead people. I just don't see him anymore.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
In a rather extraordinary turn of events, your what's your favourite dystopian novel texting has taken off.
And I told you, that's the
I
kind of
know.
people we've got
I
out
love
there.
our readers, they're so smart. Alan, have you got any?
There's a text from 279. Ironically, it's from Emily, London.
Lovely.
I'm
Charming girl.
She sounds nice, doesn't she? I'm doing my A2 English Lit coursework on dystopian literature. A Clockwork Orange, 1984, and a Handmaid's Tale. Banging novels, she says. That's the text. Then goes from sort of Radio 4 back to commercial radio, doesn't it? Banging.
Yeah, it's a big readout for those novels. I haven't tried The Handmaid's Tale, but maybe I will on the strength of
it's very
that
good.
text.
It's excellent.
It is good.
Does 1984 count?
Oh God, does it ever?
Does it ever?
Not my words, but the words of one of our readers, MK
Okay.
Knight.
MK Knight.
Yeah.
Didn't he play for England in the One Dayers in 1983?
Can I just say how thrilled I am this has taken off?
Yeah, Jane in Shropshire says we've already done that one, haven't we? Oh, have we? My current
It's
favourite
embarrassing.
dystopian novel is Angel Maker. It's
attention.
extraordinary.
Angel Maker, I don't know that one.
Me neither. Alan Cochrane, me neither.
I'll look that up.
I don't.
Me neither wouldn't be a bad T-shirt slogan.
That's his tour name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was
little-
embarrassing.
Oh,
Talk about embarrassing.
Now I'm embarrassed.
Did you? That's his tour
Hold on, I'm doing the
name.
double hand wave that women do.
It's called.
Good.
Phew.
It's called Alan Cochrane : Me neither.
Look, I knew that. I just deliberately embarrassed myself. It's so cold in here. I just wanted to get some heat from somewhere. Now I'm able to warm my hands on my own face.
We're all getting warmth off that.
Hmm.
We've had a lovely sighting of you in 2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
These texts take a while to come through.
Yeah,
It's to
there's
do
a
with your
filter.
resemblance to Graham Norton.
Oh, okay. In 1983.
And this child, well, they were 14 at the time. I'd like to know when the first time Frank was mistaken for Graham Norton. I remember going to watch Paul McCartney in Liverpool in 2003.
Oh, yes, Albert Dock. I was at that gig.
I'm not familiar with him. And Frank was wearing a ghastly shirt and...
Well, I'll explain. Can we come back to this story,
Okay.
actually, after the news?
Should we park it at Ghastly Shirt?
Yes, let's park it at Ghastly Shirt. I was only wearing one at the time. Things would be different now, of course. But yes, I have an explanation.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We were mid-topic,
Yeah.
I think.
Mid...
But before we do that, I should point out that this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter @Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I'm going to cough.
Beautifully
So
done.
can you
Well
make
done.
some
Okay, cough.
concealing
Don't do it
noise?
into the mic.
Yeah, we can carry on talking whilst you're doing that.
Oh, that's hot.
At the top
Okay.
of it, we should just say we have got a text in running.
You sound a long way away.
On 8, 12, 15.
That's better.
We have got a text in running, which is, what's your favourite dystopian novel?
Yes. And we're getting some goodies in.
We're getting some
Yeah.
goodies,
I'm
yes.
making a note of all the ones I haven't read. That's the kind of character I am.
I love a bit of H.G. Wells, Frank, as
We've
well.
had an update from Jane
me
in
too.
Shropshire, who's texted Dystopian Jane in Shropshire again, which I think is a great handle.
Yeah.
Dystopian Jane in Shropshire. It's like offended of Tunbridge Wells or something, isn't it? Dystopian Jane. My husband is saying, don't waste your time with The Handmaid's Tale. He'll never get back the time he spent reading it on my recommendation. I still believe it's a classic. That's
Bit of a domestic dispute on The Handmaid's Tale.
I'd love it if they got divorced over a dystopian novel. I would love it if they got divorced.
People have got divorced over lesser things than that, I would have thought.
879, I think this will be up your straws, Frank. Morning, Frank, Emily and Co. I'm assuming that's me.
Yeah, Co.
Oh, it's a shame. No, Sebastian Coe stood in for you last week.
Oh, did he? God.
Yeah, he's still going on about the Olympics.
Oh, we had a good one.
I said, all right, you did well, but, you know, what's next, I said.
Morning, Frank, Emily and Co. On dystopian novels, can we include Russian ones? My favourite
yeah.
is Zamyatin's Wee.
Oh,
Zamyatin's
no,
Wee?
they've gone rude with it.
No, there's just
Zamyatin's Wee.
It's not
W-E,
rude.
just for single E, not...
Not like one of those
okay.
game Wii things.
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, but I...
How are you
assume
spelling
that-
Zamyatin? No, it's all right. I'll ask you after. I think we're already losing people in their droves, but you know what? We're keeping good people. You
don't
know what I'm
think
talking
people
about?
want,
Well, I think we should
texted
move
about
swiftly on
dystopian?
to a slightly more people-pleasing anecdote.
Okay, but there'll
Which-
be more. There'll be more dystopian tips as the
don't
show
get me
progresses.
wrong, I love a
want us to
dystopian novel.
define it. I want us to define what we think a dystopian novel is.
Well, I
so that-
think of it as the sort of the opposite side of the coin to the utopian novel. So it's
Yes.
it's where a world's gone wrong,
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
The Road.
That's
you know,
how I describe it.
Yes, I know
The Road
yeah.
by
Cormac
Cormac-
McCarthy.
Cormac-
yeah, that's a
Cormac.
dark and frightening, terrifying, upsetting thing. Brilliant.
This morning on Absolute Radio.
That'll be the
discussing
trailer.
Cormac McCarthy.
That'll be the trailer, and they'll twist it on me, and they'll say like, "Christy O'Connell's breakfast show." That's a dark and terrible, and people will think I actually said that wrong. Sorry, yes, I think we're still in Albert Dock.
Yes, so we're in Albert Dock. You have... There's a 14-year-old listener there, / reader. You were there.
I'm wearing a terrible shirt.
You're wearing a
Lisa.
ghastly shirt.
I got a lot
And
of stick
sats.
on the night. It was one of these nights where you could text the stage and your text would appear in a big screen on
Oh,
the
don't
massive
say you
screen.
did that. How
No, I didn't
embarrassing.
do that.
Really?
I don't think I had a mobile at the time.
That seems amazing to me that happened in 2003. I would have
Well,
thought that was a much
They were quite
more
expensive
modern
then,
thing.
Al.
Well, there you see.
Wow.
And there was lots of stuff about what a terrible shirt I was wearing. I was actually wearing a shirt with the Beatles on it,
Oh, nice.
which I thought was obviously a very apt
What's
thing.
a Paul McCartney gig?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Well, I
Frank.
couldn't get a Wings.
No, but don't bring
bass
up the
shirt.
past. Let it go.
Yeah, well, of course he didn't bring up the past at all.
All new stuff.
Let it be.
He went off stage and the audience
Let it be encore.
started singing Macca's Coming Home,
Did they?
I remember. And I stood up and I sort of
You
addressed
didn't.
the crowd because I was on a slightly raised
You
bit.
dressed the crowd.
And I said, yeah, this is a proper song, McCartney, follow that. And he came out and did Hey Jude.
Yeah.
Sounds terribly arrogant, Frank.
Yeah, well, I
Did when he came out and did
I had a lot more swagger in those days. I've been broken down. I am a dystopian entertainer. And right on cue.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I think it's been 4 links we've been on this one email.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Is this the one
And-
about your visit to the Paul McCartney?
We're still at the Albert Dock. We're still...
Evenings
Frank's at the
and-
Paul McCartney gig.
Evenings and mornings.
Actually, we've had
I do
we've had an
falling.
email in saying McCartney gig. It was King's Dock, not Albert Dock. Hashtag pedantic but accurate.
Okay.
I would have sworn it was Albert Dock.
Okay.
Can you look again?
And what about when you said that earlier this morning?
Yeah, and who was
no.
right?
You were right.
Frank. Carry on.
He was looking for a CD. Frank still likes CDs.
I like a CD because when you're bored with them, they make a nice coaster.
Yeah.
Can you do that with an MP3? No.
Charlie, who's producing the show, came over and said, I don't think that CD's there. And Frank said, what did you say, Frank?
Well, I don't know why you bring this up on air. I
said,
might it be a case of you not looking thoroughly enough?
oh.
And Emily said, oh, it better be there now. But you betcha it was. But Charlie fessed up, and I love her for that.
Yeah.
She did that thing they do in basketball when you just hold your hand up and say, yes, it was a foul.
She did. I'd never have done that.
No,
now,
I know that.
Listen, so we're in Liverpool. We're at the Paul McCartney gig. You've got a terrible shirt on. You have rather mortifyingly, it emerges, taken to the stage and said, Macca's
Well, I wasn't
home
on
or
the
something.
stage. I was on the right
But
seating.
you've addressed the people.
I'll tell you what happened was beautiful that night, and what does this say about the people of Liverpool, is I didn't realise it was, me or Kath didn't realise it was an outdoor gig until we got there. So I just had this short-sleeve Beatles shirt on. She had I think she had spaghetti straps, if I remember rightly.
Oh.
And it got cold.
Dinner all down
and
the shirt, yeah.
and a couple of Scousers further down, right down the other bottom,
They
like
wouldn't
10,
be wearing
20
coats.
rows away. They passed us a couple of fleeces, a couple of spare fleeces for us to put on. We put them on and then passed them back down after.
That's
Aye.
so nice.
Excellent.
This was during the war, you see, when... I know it wasn't.
I like that that's your Pipes of Peace moment.
It was, yeah.
Anyway.
Fleeces of peace. Pipes of fleece.
Frank, I've got to finish
Sorry,
this
carry
email.
on.
It's
Sorry.
taken the whole show.
You're right.
So, you're wearing a ghastly shirt, sat to the left of the stage. Well, except when you're getting up on the stage trying to steal Paul McCartney's thunder. Frank, this gets worse, stood up and danced
Yes.
before Sir Paul came on.
I mean, before he came on, can you believe it?
Frank, it's awful. And mainly was just enjoying himself.
Yes, I was.
That's volume 4 of your autobiography series.
Yeah, well, it's been the enjoying myself years.
I was with my mum
What happened to those?
and her friends,
Oh,
me
yeah.
being only 14 at the time. I shouted out, "Look, Mum, it's that Graham Norton." And a fair few people around us also turned to have a look at the chat show host.
Yes. I mean, this was 1983 when, they were
No, it was
less...
2003.
When was it?
2003.
Yeah, but that
yes,
all
that's
merges
right.
into one.
But
for
even
him.
so, there were less liberal times. To be identified as Graham Norton in a working-class city, I could have been ripped to pieces.
Especially in a fleece.
I know,
Hope I
yeah.
didn't start this lookalike. Sorry if I have. I was only 14 at the time. Insert praise here.
Yes.
There you
well,
go.
maybe you did start the whole Graham Norton thing. I suspect it was God when he gave me this
That's
face.
811, Frank.
Lovely to hear from you, 811. Still think it was Albert Dock.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
You can't say to people that work on the show, "Is that a spot on your nose or pen?"
Why?
It's just rude. You just
I
said it
think
to
people-
Sarah.
I think people need to be told.
It turned out well because it was pen. But
Yeah,
had
but
it been...
I'd want someone to tell me.
She ran out of the studio.
When I worked in a factory...
And then you said you're just disappearing without a bar your leave.
When I worked in a factory when I was a young man, this guy said to me, "Can you take this blueprint up to Dave in the dye shop?" And he never asked me to do anything like that. So I went up, I had to go through the offices and stuff. And I got up and Dave said, "What's this for? This is... why sent this?" And I said, "Of course we didn't have phones." So I went back and I said, "Dave," he was really laughing. He said, "Sorry," he said, "you got a big bogey on your nose. I just wanted everybody to see it." So it's the opposite of that. Anyway, let's do a couple of dystopians and then we'll get on.
Dystopian.
well, actually, first we've got some any other business before
Okay.
we move on to the dystopians. I've had further contact about the McCartney gig. To watch a gig in Albert Dock, you would be beneath 50 feet of water, hence the acoustics would be terrible.
Yeah, didn't I mention that? It was great. When he did Octopus's Garden, we all wept.
Oh, and the frog chorus went great.
Oh, yeah, well, we had to go up. We just went up to lily pad level for that.
I like requesting that on the elevator. Okay, so 694, Frank, says, "Morning, guys. Can I just say, I like the fusion of guys with the dystopian novel.
Yes.
Morning, guys. I really like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Ah, Dick.
By, yes.
Philip K.
Philip K. Dick,
Which
yes.
became Blade Runner, because Blade Runner is
correct.
based on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fine.
Hi Frank and friends, have you read Flowers for Algernon? Disturbing and brilliant. It has a place in my favourite section of my book cabinet.
I think I have read that. I'll tell you what I like, Canticle for Leibovitz. Recommend that.
Sorry
Anyway,
to
we
hear
better
that.
move on. We're just about to switch off, Let's talk about James Bond. Oh no, leave it. Leave it, Karen. We'll have a listen to this bit.
So Black Country, I love it. That's my new show, That's So Black Country.
Oh, I'd like to watch that.
Oh, would you? I star in it. Oh yeah, the James Bond film. Now, can I say the auspices are looking good? Because it's the one who...
Can you say that?
Were they,
It's the one who did...
were they in the background on the photo?
Yeah, I wonder where that steam was coming from.
It's the one who did the Skyfall one, which I really liked.
Oh, Sam Mendes,
middle class one, yeah, I love that.
It's the middle class one. He was married to lovely Kate, of
He
course.
was,
Loads
yeah.
of working class film directors doing Bond films in the middle
I
class.
can't forgive him for breaking Kate's heart.
Well, he said, Sam Mendes,
Yeah.
he said it would have a little bit more mischief.
What, his next relationship?
No, the
Oh.
film, and you know what?
What does he mean by that?
I just hope it's not a
Fair
euphemism for sexy times.
Oh, well, there's
I
enough of
hate
that.
sex in films, don't you?
James Bond has never been short of that kind of... But you're right, I don't like that in films at all.
It's all-
Kissing, I hate in films.
I hate kissing in
Kissing,
films. So
yeah.
noisy. The noises, Frank.
Makes me... Honestly, I've sat watching Kissing in a big cinema with people, with me suddenly going...
Do you know what I hate, Frank? When they do the sexy scenes, and there's so many legs and backs, and I don't like the sheet over the ladies'
No,
la-las,
no.
and the sheet over the gentleman's excuse me as well.
No, it's all stock there, of course.
You guys are such prudes. I love these scenes.
Do you? I hate those
Legend.
scenes. Why do we never... Have they ever added anything to her?
No.
No.
You don't
of
show
course
people on the toilet. Don't show them doing that.
not. No. Okay, there goes that script I've just come up with. Oh, dear, what a letdown.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're talking about James Bond this morning on Absolute Radio, but can I just say, John, who says Brave New World, the giant on whose shoulders 1984 is written, yes, I agree with you.
That is very fine.
True enough.
So, Skyfall, that's been and gone.
It's not called Skyfall this time, is
No,
it?
What's it called now?
They're changing the names on them now.
It would have been an interesting development.
Why
if
don't they
went
just call it
Skyfall
James
2.
Bond 22 or whatever it is? They
Now-
just did that. It'd be brilliant.
Now
wouldn't
that's
it?
what I call James Bond. That's what they should call it. Much better.
Exactly, number 20, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What is it called, Al?
Spectre.
Phil Spector.
I mean, I don't want to be a
Bit
Spectre.
awkward, bit orcs.
Yeah,
That would have been
he won't be in
That
it.
would have been a terrible typo, wouldn't it? If
Oh.
they'd put on Spectre.
Yeah, license to... Oh.
I like Frank's revelation that he won't be in it.
Oh, no, he won't. I don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
Spoilers.
No.
What's the song? Who'll get the song, do you think? Who's current?
Oh, yeah, that's a great guess.
Who's lined up for the song?
Well, can I be honest? See,
Not
I
One
think-
Direction. You're thinking
No,
One
but
Direction.
Robbie Williams might have a shot at it.
No,
but
he
listen. hear
Rita
me out.
Ora.
Rita Ora's in the running.
Rita Ora. We should at least call her.
What about Beyonce?
Oh.
How would hers go, Frank? Come
Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen's in the running, isn't he? No.
It would be
picking
so,
people
so
that
like,
don't play
I'm Inspector. No. I'm not an inspector, I'm Inspector. And when she arrives, I'll inspect her. I may not, that could just be conjecture.
That's my favourite song.
Yeah, then it has to go dun dun dun.
Oh, I know how it has to go.
They all have that. Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe, no, you know what they'll do? You know what they'll do, Frank? It's this whole Lily Allen, Kate Nash. It's the girl
Oh,
with the
yeah.
wispy voice John Lewis had. It's that, isn't
Lily Allen would be a good call.
Feet someone. It'll be someone feet someone, won't it? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be someone.
it?
fake.
Coldplay.
Calvin Harris feet Lily Allen or something like that.
I heard that.
That's what it'll be.
She just said get off and move to another table.
I read that in 3 a.m.
Right, too.
Anyway,
Can
Go
I
on.
tell you, it's a bit of a big... I was offered Blofeld,
Oh, yeah.
by who?
but, you know, it's the cat allergy. Can't do it.
Don't say things like that.
Okay,
on the
no, I
Commercial
wasn't.
Breakfast show.
Well, they're being very secretive about it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Incredibly secretive, which
Yeah.
always, I must admit, does get me a bit. They have a press conference and they say things like, so what, is your character Inspector? No. Not allowed to say that, can't tell you. Well, is he a good guy? I never said he was a bad guy. It's all like that.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was in the press court and they'd say, look, you brought it up, the film.
You started all
Do you
this.
know what I mean? I didn't. You brought it up, and now when we ask you about it, you don't want to talk about it. Well, why bring it up?
I had stuff to do today.
Why not
You
just
invited
keep
me,
it to yourselves if you don't want to talk about it?
Got a Christmas tree to put up.
You can't call people in one place to say you don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. Doesn't make any sense at all. You know, we're doing this new. Really? What's it like? Well, don't mind your own business. Rubbish.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We've had some lovely little ideas for who could sing the next Bond theme.
Oh, okay.
Stu has suggested Tinchy Strider feat Michael Burke.
Oh, that'd be good.
Cash in.
Someone else has suggested Sam Smith feat Emily on backing vocals.
Oh.
Can I fess up now?
Sam Smith doing
And
it.
this is no disrespect to Sam Smith, but I don't know who that is.
How embarrassing.
He has got a very everyday name, to be fair to him. It's not like he's gone
I've already established his gender with the next thing that was said.
He's he's big on the hit parade.
Is he? Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. Feel I've let you down.
Rico has suggested Harry Belafonte,
Ah,
which is a great idea.
yeah, I'll be happy with that.
Nice.
Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say,
Carl has suggested...
underneath the mango tree.
No,
Is this all right?
it's
okay,
really
sorry,
not.
everyone.
Okay, pretend that didn't happen. Let's
It's all
pretend
right.
that. Let's
Thank
pretend
God
that
it's not live.
never happened.
Hey, what is it?
What?
And let's move on to Carl, who suggested Emily Sandé. Would be my guess, which is a good,
that
suggestion.
she, I would say, is very much Bond tune material.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Bond himself, old Daniel Craig, he caused a little bit of a brouhaha, didn't he?
he?
Apparently,
Yes.
according to some, he got the dress code wrong. I couldn't see what was wrong.
Oh, yes.
I have a lot to say about this.
Unsurprisingly.
My theory, he wore, in case you didn't see, he wore a shirt and tie.
No, he didn't have a tie.
I think he did have a tie.
I thought he had a tie.
He did
All
have
the
a
papers
tie.
were saying he didn't have a tie.
You know nothing.
Well, what was there? What was that
You know
dark
nothing.
thing under his white shirt collar?
Dark matter.
Well, it's
Maybe
not up to us to
maybe it's a
investigate.
dystopian-
Matter. Do you think? Oh, it's a Higgs boson. Higgs bow tie.
Very good.
You can't go up to men and say, "What's that dark thing under you?" It's rude.
No,
Frank
I honestly think he did wear a tie. Anyway, he wore a round-necked jumper, didn't he, with the shirt?
A crew neck, I think you'll find
We'll call it a crew neck.
Well, we will, because that's what it's called. Some people...
I like to think it's because his cleaner didn't turn up this week and let him down.
Yeah, regular
So we have to go.
readers will be aware that... Frank, what was the story about the cleaner?
Well,
He stole your
she
clean.
used to clean for Rachel Weisz, and when Rachel Weisz fell in love and moved in with Daniel Craig, she decided that it'd be a lot harder to keep the house tidy. He must be an absolute slovenly character around the house. So she gave my cleaner extra hours, which she took from me. So she said, I'm going to have to leave you. I'm going to work for Daniel and Rachel. So he took my cleaner.
We're not allowed to name the cleaner, obviously. Where was she from, may I ask?
She was from Eastern Europe.
Okay. And I'm just trying to imagine the conversation they would have had, because maybe it's her fault that he's turned up in these clothes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe she's had a week off, impromptu.
Or maybe
and he's
she's
saying,
put the
well,
suit...
where is she this week? I'm going to have to wear that stupid round neck jumper.
Or she could have put the suit... I put Blue Prada suit in the washing machine.
Hang on, are you allowed to do that?
Yes, I am, because I'm a
Well,
woman.
why are you allowed to do that? And I can't be underneath the mango tree.
I don't make the rules.
Okay.
Anyway, everyone was wrong that was criticising his outfit.
Oh, well, no, hold on. I'll have to play some music now, because if
Okay.
you're going to make a big fashion statement, I mean, I think we need a break.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We are running two separate texts in to appeal to the masses today, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've got what's your favourite dystopian novel?
Yeah.
And we've got who should be singing the next James Bond song.
And it's confusing sometimes.
So we've really thrown it out there. We're catering, high and lowbrow, I think.
Yeah.
How about Ray Parker Jr. for the Bond song? Spectre can be his follow-up to Ghostbusters from Wayne in Hills.
See, I thought someone was suggesting him for dystopian novel. This is what's confusing. Please clarify which of the texted.
I was once in a club where they played Ghostbusters. I'd never heard it on a big sound system.
That must have been a good club.
I'll tell you something.
Playing Ghostbusters in a club.
Yeah, but that's the kind of clubs I go to.
Was it Flares?
But it was brilliant.
Birmingham.
When they blast, it'd be too late. It'd be too modern for a Flares.
Isn't there a club called Flares in Birmingham?
There is.
There's a club
there was.
Frank Starr is right by Flares.
Oh, excellent.
Anyway,
excellent.
When it's cranked up loud, Ghostbusters, it sounds absolutely brilliant.
And when
I mean it.
When they followed it up with Axel F, what did you think of that? Were you enjoying that too?
Don't know what that means. Is that by Sam Smith?
Axel F by Sam Smith.
You know what I can't get out of my head, Al? Is the idea of Frank in Flair's nightclub and Ghostbusters comes on and he goes, crank this up!
You get the brass hitting you in the stomach and then a little lower, a little deeper in the abdomen. Brilliant.
Did you run onto the dance floor? Did you?
Run onto it? I ran onto it like spilt wine.
Did I tell you when I cried at Ghostbusters?
The film or the song?
The song. I was in the car. Might have been a heavy weekend. And it was a long time ago. And I just
the car was upside down and on fire.
No, but it's a really tragic bit in it where he says, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And then there's a musical bit, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And then he says, I hear he likes the girls. And I found that really depressing. Because I don't think the ghost would have a chance with the girls.
No, exactly. It's I don't know, Patrick Swayze, he did all right. You moved that.
That's true.
You moved that.
Now, is Dave Hill... Would you say Dave Hill is favourite dystopian novel, or maybe singer of Bond theme?
Dave Hill from Slade?
Yeah.
No, that'll be Bond theme.
Okay.
555 has texted, Mr. Happy Roger Hargreaves makes me very depressed. I think that's a suggestion for dystopian.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think Mr. Happy's going to get the Bond theme.
No. Oh, talking of Bond, so I was telling you...
Oh, yes.
Telling you why everyone was wrong. Everyone was wrong about Daniel Craig. Okay. People were saying, I believe someone tweeted, drunk supply teacher, was what somebody said. And they said it looked a bit Christmas jumper. They were very rude.
I thought that was... there's so much product placement in the Bond films.
Yeah.
I'm reckoning he got a backhander from River Island.
Can I tell you what it actually was?
You could do, but we have to go to the news now. I love this. If there's one thing I love, it's fashion suspense.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Yeah, we've got 2 text-ins running at the moment, haven't we?
Yes. What's your favourite dystopian novel, and who should be doing the Bond song?
Someone suggested Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Linda has suggested for dystopian. I quite like that.
I've never read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It's good.
I've never seen the film. I've never seen the musical.
Really?
Well, there's a whole world out there for you
to
enjoy.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it.
It's a dystopian. Yeah, so what's your favourite?
I tell you what, if you work in the fashion industry, anything set in a chocolate factory is a dystopian.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm hoping is that people sending in their favourites will mean people will think, I might get that Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
And there's going to be bookshops.
I've been writing them down as we've been going along.
There'll be bookshops across England where people say, I don't know what, we've had a real rush on the dystopian novel.
I've suggested Utopia by Thomas More to Alan already this morning.
But that surely cannot be a dystopian novel because it's a utopian
No, exactly.
novel.
No, but it's good to get that reading in so that we can...
Yes.
Wait, let's not lose any more listeners.
No, exactly. We're also calling this dystopian novel phone in. The subtitle is Why This Show Doesn't Have a Sponsor.
Yeah, but... Well, we could have had one. I'm going to talk... We could have... I'm going to talk about Daniel Craig.
Crew neck sweater.
Because Frank has been trailing this for a while.
Yes.
People said grandad shirt. It wasn't a grandad shirt either.
Because people criticised him.
Time, in my opinion. Carry on.
People criticised him. They said he looks a bit square. They said drug supply teacher I mentioned earlier. He was compared to.
Didn't like that.
What these people don't understand is that Daniel Craig was the most fashionable one of the bunch up there on that stage. Can I tell you why? Because he was embracing something called normcore, which is a fashion trend.
What's it called?
Normcore.
Normcore, like hardcore, but normal.
It's called normcore.
Oh, okay.
And what it's about, you know,
Very
people...
core.
For example, what it's about is anti-statement, anti-fashion. So it's about just regular clothes. People in Silicon Valley. So like Bill Gates, he wears normcore. Chinos and a crew neck. It's very Hoxton. It's
He
very
does
now.
look terrible though, doesn't he, Bill Gates?
Okay. So that's what it is. He was just looking fashionable.
Okay. Well, I'm wearing knitwear today, and you know, I generally eschew knitwear.
You do.
Can I just say, I thought you were looking a bit normcore this morning.
Yeah,
And only a week since teasing my jumper quite
Yes.
a lot on this show,
Well-
and then suddenly we've got two major players in the world's media, Frank Skinner and Daniel Craig, turning
yes.
up in sweaters.
In normcore.
I'm not saying that I'm the trendsetter here, but you guys do the math. Yeah?
No, but can I tell you, I it's not that I'm anti-knitwear, but as you know, what I hate about knitwear is you get, as soon as it's,
I
when you
know.
first get it, it's lovely. I only bought this on, I think it was on Monday.
Right.
So it hasn't been washed yet, so it's lovely. As soon as it's washed, it'll never be the same again.
Yeah.
I'll just get the PR to send you another one.
Such is my... I paid for this. Yes! Chew that over.
Wow.
I
Christmas.
But I'm actually meeting an artist this afternoon, and she's
Oh.
going to take some photographs as a study. She's going to...
Gonna take some photographs.
Yeah, she's going to paint me in oils, maybe acrylics. And I thought what I want to preserve is knitwear before it's been washed.
Oh, that's a
that
good
deserves an
idea.
oil painting.
Yeah.
I like that look on you. Can I say I think you look one of the nicest you've ever looked?
Thank you. You
I
can
like-
say that. I don't know if you can say it grammatically, but you can certainly say it
No,
emotionally.
but Frank, you honestly, that look really suits you.
Start
Thank
talking
you.
about Frank's look too much on the radio. It seems like it's excluding the readership.
You've changed.
I like the idea of
I think I look better in the imagination.
of Daniel Craig turning up in the sweater. I think that they should employ a bit more knitwear in the actual Bond movie. I think he never wears a sweater, does he?
I can't remember. I
You'd
think
need
of him
elbow
only in
patches.
Speedos.
People fear the new and the unfamiliar. This is always the way with fashion.
it'd be
You'll
good.
come round.
But the
have a bit
unfamiliar,
where,
the jumper.
They could have a bit.
No, but
where
it's the
huge
unfamiliar
shows
for
him-
that sort of event. isn't
Anyway,
it?
he did. I thought he just looked like he hadn't tried too much, which is always a good way to look if you're that
bit
big a
try
star.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Little tip there for anyone if you're listening, Naomi.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Wouldn't it be nice if Bond himself wore the knitwear? Because then you could have like some of the gadgets matching up. Like Q could say, like, here's your Aston Martin, and if you press this button, a lint roller will come out.
Oh, that'd be good.
Or like one of
Oh, I
those
love a lint roller.
Remington Fuzzerware just locked in the door.
Wow, I forgot about those.
Everyone's forgotten the Remington Fuzzerware.
If anyone knows me, that's what I'd like for Christmas.
A Remington Fuzzerware? Am I
No.
giving it too much press now?
A lint roller.
Okay.
They're cheap,
Lovely.
and I love them.
And if they know me, I'd like the Ronco record vacuum for getting fluff off the records.
Really?
What do you want, Al?
I'd like Zamyatin's Wee, please.
Okay, I'll get you a bottle of that.
Oh, you had to, didn't you?
I'm sorry,
Probably
everyone.
find it in a lay-by
I'm
where all
sorry.
the
I'm
truckers stop.
sorry. Of course, there's no Dench in this film.
No.
Oh, I
So
love a
I
dench.
feel like I'd enjoy it now.
Oh, Frank.
You
Why'd
know
you
she
say
was.
that?
Do you remember when I was being photographed outside the Ivy restaurant? She arrived and said,
I think you've misinterpreted this.
I
Watch
thought this
out.
place was for celebrities.
I don't think she meant that.
Well,
She's got a point, in fairness.
Well-
I don't rate her that highly, but
oh,
everyone
well, I wouldn't question her abilities.
oh well, I do.
Anyway, they got Rafe
that's what I'm
Fiennes.
like.
What about, are you familiar with the work of Daniel Dyer?
Can
the
I just
actor?
say with Rafe Fiennes?
Yeah.
In contrast to Danny Dyer, I'm glad they haven't
Daniel.
got. Yeah, sorry.
I'm doing an Andrew Cole with him.
Rafe Fiennes, I'm glad because he's going to be another male in there that they haven't gone for the alpha male with him.
No,
They've gone for the alpha male.
Oh, look, I'm glad you
Work
got
it
that
out.
in. No, we've worked it
Ralph
out.
Rafe.
We've worked it out.
Yeah.
Didn't take that much working out.
Yeah.
He's so proud of his joke.
It was fine, wasn't it? It was
No,
fine.
I know, but I could see the tension on his face that he thought, what if I don't get this joke in? And I'm so proud of it.
No, get it in. You're kidding me. I'd stop the whole damn show. For the alpha joke.
Anyway.
That's why this runs perpetually. It's like a soap opera, because Frank's got so many jokes that he still has to get.
You say it runs perpetually, but who knows? Eh?
Oh, don't say
After
that. Frank.
When the boss is here, the
Dystopian
dystopian novel. Texting.
What if
When
they're at home listening
when that
to
gets
that?
back to HQ. What is this? Sorry, carry on.
So Daniel Dyer,
Yes.
the actor,
Yes.
he has...
From EastEnders.
Yes, from
Yeah.
EastEnders.
Yeah.
Well, you see, that's the thing. He's from EastEnders now, but he was one of those sort of Football Factory young Brit film, wasn't he?
He was. And
Then he went EastEnders. We've
And
all
he-
got mortgages to pay, except for Frank, apparently. He has said he thinks he could play Sherlock.
yes.
He said it's about being intelligent rather than posh, which I think is true to
Yeah.
a degree. He also said in this country he has the utmost respect, but if he walks into a pub, he'd get annihilated by geezers.
That was about Benedict, wasn't
Yes,
it?
about Benedict.
Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Well, there may be something in that,
Yeah.
but the whole... I don't think he's not a geezer, Sherlock Holmes. You'd have to change it
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, you couldn't
I
have
take
that.
his point. As I've said to you before, I can never play the Doctor in Doctor Who because they just couldn't have one with my accent. They'll go Scottish.
I love that he thinks that's the only reason
I
that
know.
he couldn't
The
play
fact
the
that I
Doctor.
can't act has got nothing to do with it.
It's because of the accent. That's what his agent told him.
No, but it's true that if you've got RP pronunciation, it's definitely an advantage.
I don't agree with that.
What,
Definitely.
really? You think Danny Dyer as Sherlock's going to work? Where Sherlock's turning to Watson and going, it's all going to come on top? Just don't think it's going to happen.
You want to get involved, mate? You want to get involved, pal?
Yeah, the penultimate scene, I think I've cracked it.
You
Not
see?
going to happen.
Yeah. This pipe. I'm getting sick of this pipe. No, that's why.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
I'm glad that we've had a somewhat literary feel to today's show. I'm pleased by that because I've got to pick your brains. I think you may both be the sort of people that I can ask questions to on. Here's the thing. We all love a freebie. I know you ask people not to send stuff, but when that beard oil company sent me some beard oil last week, I loved it. It was great.
Did you use it?
Yeah, I've used it. It's
Oh,
nice.
I missed that. Did
It's
you get a
nice.
freebie?
Yeah, I got a free
Oh,
bit of
that's
beard
Addressed
oils.
to me, so I had a parcel. I thought, how excited! I opened it. It was beard oil for the cockerel.
Anyway, reasonably recently, I did a little gig for stationery people. I don't mean they were sat still.
Was it a corporate?
Yeah, it was a corporate for stationery people, like they worked in stationery. Mm-hmm.
I love stationery.
So do I.
Well, you would have liked this. Not only did I get to give Stabilo, Stabilo, the people
I
that
know
make those
Stabilo.
pens, I gave them an award, and when they were
Is that what Harry Enfield used to play with the kebabs?
I gave them an award, and as they were walking back to their seat, I said, "Oh, that was the highlight of the evening."
That was
You know what?
Okay.
I love some local
Bit of
material.
fun, bit of
Yeah,
fun.
that was excellent.
Anyway, I said to the woman that was booking the gig, I went, "Oh, I could do with a notebook."
You
And,
didn't.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Oh dear.
Frank, he's begging for books.
I know.
Begging for notebooks.
Hey, here's the thing. She gave me 5 nice pens that I'm really enjoying using, and 5 little red notebooks.
Well, I'm
right?
starting to think that was a good idea.
But the red notebooks.
Oh, I love a notebook.
Little
I love
notebooks.
seeing Frank re-evaluating the whole
Yeah.
situation suddenly.
And I don't need
Just the potential of a notebook is so exciting. You might
5.
write your magnum opus in it.
Well, I've
or
been using it to
Magnus
write
Magnus.
Magnuson.
I've been using it to write a little journal, because when I first opened it, I was
Oh,
thinking,
right,
I wonder
that's
what I'll
so
use this for. Maybe
cute.
I'll use it to write some material. And then I saw like a date box on the left-hand column, and I thought, I'll have a crack at a journal.
Good idea.
It's been very inconsistent, Frank. I think you've got to hit it more frequently than I have.
Well,
been.
I do one every day, as you know.
Every day.
Every day. Every day I write the book.
And can I ask what time?
Chapter 1. What time? Generally last thing at night.
Yeah, see, I've been doing it quite often on a morning when I've been getting the train home.
I've heard that.
So it's been almost like a...
What do you know, these journals?
up.
I have the utmost respect for you beginning this. I have the utmost respect for Frank, who's done it for many years.
Thank you, darling.
What I would say
This is
is
a weird section of the show.
it's utterly pointless, me doing this, because the only reason I would ever write a journal is just to document deeply unpleasant things I have to say about those who wronged me.
Well, that's all right. They have many, you know, my father's house has many mansions.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
It would just be vitriol about people, though. And what if someone found it?
Yeah, I do wonder who the audience is for it. Am I writing it for people to read it after I've perished? Or
Oh,
am
God,
I writing
yeah.
it... Is that
Well, you
the
always
ideal?
have to risk that. At least your family will read it, I would have thought. If you die suddenly,
Oh,
they'll
God.
be on that like vultures. They will, though, won't they? They'll be looking for...
Yeah, they'll be looking for interesting stuff.
See where you
and
put the
actually-
money they haven't been spending all these years.
Actually, they'll be looking for interesting stuff, and they'll find me writing about how disappointing dressing rooms are. I mean, nine times out of 10, that is what the journal is about. This is meant to be a dressing room, but
would
it's only
you-
for dressing. There's no
You
couch
document
in it.
everything. I mean, would you
Can't
say...
document
To
everything.
the theatre, to watch... I mean, that's the bit
Yeah,
that
I do
can't.
do that.
Oh, you
And I'll
don't.
write a little review,
You don't.
and
Do
I'll
you?
say, you know, and I bumped into, and then it'll be, you know, some Patrick Cargill or something like that.
Really?
I'll put in brackets, Father, dear Father, in case the people who read it after I'm dead don't know who he is.
Can I... At the risk of sounding an egomaniac, am I in the journal?
Oh, yeah, you're in it quite a lot.
Oh, can I read it?
Definitely not. Whenever I read back through it, all I've learned from reading back through it is that I'm ill every day.
Oh, wow.
Right, who wants to read that?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I think I need to go for more consistency on the journal. I keep writing it on trains after periods of being away working, and then I think, oh, I've got that notebook, I should have a little go on that. But sometimes I'm beginning it with, oh, I haven't written anything in this book for 10 days, and there's too much to catch up then, isn't there?
Yeah, you got
Like-
you got to get into the habit.
There's
So
whole
permanent,
chapters,
though.
There's whole chapters of my life that have been missed. I missed some personal records, because I've recently broken a few personal records. I made a 6-egg omelette the other day. 6.
Wow.
6.
You're the world's strongest man.
It was to share.
Was
to
it
share.
How many they
was
have?
the sell-by date that day on half a dozen eggs, and you thought I might have put them all in one omelette?
I said I'm going to make an omelette. My wife went, "Oh, I'll have some," and I went, "How many do you think I should put in then?" Because I would normally stop at 5, because you don't want any bits being too
Stop
runny.
at 5. I'd stop at 1.
Oh, I couldn't
For
leave.
2 people.
I couldn't leave one in the box on its own.
Oh, couldn't you?
Oh, we buy
No, I
more
think
than 6s in our house.
What about a nice boiled egg in front of X Factor?
I went
That's
6.
a big omelette.
Big
that
omelette. And
is.
then, before that, I'd got out my winter coat, 'cause obviously the weather's turned. Got out my winter coat, put my hand in the inside pocket. Guess what? Money!
Oh, I thought you were going to say another notebook. Can I, before we turn onto this find, can I
Yeah.
say that on the notebook front,
Yes.
do you remember when we all got sent Panini sticker albums for
Yes.
the World
Oh,
Cup?
I've still got mine.
And you guys got free notebooks,
We
and I
did.
didn't get one, and I was not.
Did you complain on air?
I was
You gonna-
peeved
you gonna
by
say
it
that that's
because
in
I
your
love a
journal?
notebook. No, well, that was in my journal.
Well, you wrote up that.
Well,
Yeah.
you did not write that in your journal.
I did,
You are so petty.
but also,
writes that in a
hold on, we're
journal?
not finished yet. I spoke to my management company and got them to get in touch with Panini,
You
and
did not.
they sent me a free notebook separately.
The cost of that phone call. And I bet they bikes it round.
Yeah,
I don't care, I've got it. All right.
brilliant. Anyway,
What about that diary I found once from from my teenage years, and it only had one entry in it.
And what did it say?
January the 1st, it said, "There can be no true love without the fear of losing."
Oh, you sound like a barrel of laughs.
Yeah, that was it.
Wow.
Glad I didn't
Imagine
go
the
out with you.
hangover I had, though. It's January the 1st.
What about when I used to have a Paddington diary and I used to write Dear Paddy? Oh,
You used to write it to Paddington?
yeah. I didn't really
Yeah.
understand the concept of a diary.
No, I've been considering giving it to a person, like addressing it. You know, like Anne Frank had Dear Kitty. I was thinking
did
of
you?
just
Keep
picking
it
a
light,
person.
love.
Oh,
Keep it
yeah,
light.
Try and keep it light.
I've never read
It is Dystopian Day on Absolute Radio.
It is.
Spoiler alert.
I've never read Anne Frank's. Is it worth a read?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty important in the history of the world, I
I don't
suppose,
read
you know?
books because they're important.
Bit of a sad
Alright, fair
ending.
enough.
Anyway,
Put my hand in the winter jacket, felt nuts, put my hand in the winter jacket and felt...
Sorry, is
I
it
felt
me or does
paper.
Alan sound like he's in another room?
Apparently it sounds fine to the listenership.
Oh, does he? Okay,
Okay.
well that's what
what
counts.
producers have told me in previous weeks.
Yeah, and if
when
you
I've
believe
said,
that-
I don't think I'm getting my
no,
hand
but he
on the
gets
table.
there's a special thing when he's talking about money to avoid
No,
him getting
it's-
too
it's not.
I
overexcited.
think it's a little tremble in the voice.
Yeah.
So I had that paranoid thing of this could be money or it could be some old receipts from a Tesco's shop or something.
Oh,
Pulled it
yeah.
out, personal record,
How much?
25 quid.
Shut up.
Honestly, 25. I mean, who puts 25 on the inside pocket of a coat? And
Turns
know.
out you do.
I left it there for a year.
I can't believe you did.
Great days, though. Great days.
Must have been drunker than you've ever been in your whole life.
I love finding a 20.
I'll tell you what, if there had been loads of shrapnel as well in
Oh,
there, then
yeah.
that's definitely the truth.
Oh, that was the thing. When you couldn't pick your trousers up the next morning, there was so much change in them.
That would have been
I
a big
always
giveaway.
find £1.20. They always travel together, I find, in the bottom of my handbag.
Oh.
And if I find 1p's, they make me vomit. They smell, and they're tiny.
They are a bit smelly, aren't they?
They smell and they're tiny. The joy of the 20, though, Frank. The folded 20 in a bag. I don't put money in my pocket.
25.
but
What
in the-
about when me and a mate, when we were about 16, we found a wallet with 80 quid in it.
You didn't.
I mean, this was when 80 quid was 80 quid.
Yes.
Was this in Birmingham, obviously?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Bought a house.
Well, we
Yeah.
can't believe you said that.
Yeah, but it's okay, he's allowed to.
Well, the thing is, we
He's
couldn't.
from, where is it, Yorkshire?
Yeah.
Okay.
We couldn't buy anything material. You see, all my mum would have said, "Hold on, where's all
Yeah.
that come from?" So I'm afraid we had to drink it. And I often think that had we have handed in that wallet, I wouldn't have started drinking so furiously, and a whole dark chapter of my life wouldn't have happened. So that was my punishment for my dishonesty. So if you're listening at home, Mark, hand it in. If that's right, if that turns out to be right, that there is someone called Mark who found a wallet last night, that would be a brilliant Darren Brown moment.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We've had a text on 140. I kept a diary for many years throughout my youth, which lasted until I was around 35.
Samuel Pepys.
After children, I decided
Adrian
to,
Mole.
Adrian Charles.
Sorry, carry on.
after children, I decided to throw it in a lake, just so my kids would never read it.
Wow.
That's,
I think that's a good idea.
yeah, it's probably not bad.
Throw in a lake. If you see a bloke, I mean, it must have been several volumes.
Yeah.
Probably had it in a black zip-up bag.
Mm-hmm.
You saw him sliding that into the lake in the early hours.
I'd so read that. I'd dive in.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what we haven't discussed this morning. What about that survey? I love a survey. Love a
Oh,
survey.
yeah, a good survey.
This one made my heart sink a little, though. I'm not going to lie. It was about have you made it?
Oh, that survey.
Oh,
Did you?
that's
It had
so,
revealed the 50 things that prove that you've made it as a human being.
Loved it.
Can I tell you why I hated it? I thought I'd done all right for myself.
Mm-hmm.
My car, my crib, my jewels. Apparently not. Apparently, I have
You're so street.
I have nothing, Frank. I'm a big fat zero because I don't have an orchard.
You didn't have zero. You didn't have zero. You must.
You didn't
have some
score.
on
You
this
must have
list.
scored.
I didn't have zero.
I have
But-
48.
I don't. Who has an orchard?
Me.
You have an
don't.
orchard?
An orchard, yeah.
Who are you, the Duke of Westminster?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm the Duke of Westminster, and I regularly go skiing, and my children are at public, so that's not true. That
No.
Have
I
you
couldn't
got?
be.
Okay, let's just do a random thing. Sit down mower, Frank Skinner,
No.
Alan Cochrane.
No, but I've got AstroTurf, which is better than having a sit-down mower, isn't it? Fake grass in the garden.
I don't know
it's
if
really-
better is right.
All right.
TV in every room. Bit Australian.
No.
I've got a few TVs, but certainly not one in every room. But then again, I've got a lot of rooms.
Got a small radio that I take from room to room sometimes.
a good idea.
That's a nice thing.
Matching bathrobes.
No. Kat doesn't even match the belt of her bathrobe with the rest of the bathrobe. I find that annoying. I scored 7.
Did you?
Out of 50, so 14%, that's not good, that's not made it.
And to the outside eye, most people would assume that you have made it. 'Cause,
You'd think so.
You've been famous for a chunk of time.
Thank you,
you're
Alan.
in the main chair.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't done the Christmas shopping yet, so you timed this well.
But then you've got, you see,
7.
no, you're not going to do well on this, Frank, because it's things like member of a tennis club, golf membership.
Golf, skiing. I mean, is it a test of whether you've made it, or is it a test of whether you're a very great scoundrel? That's what I wondered.
Wine cellar doesn't sound.
Wine cellar.
Yeah.
Come on.
Can I tell you what this? I think this list.
Non-alcoholic wine cellar.
They've confused it with Are You a Top Gear presenter?
Yes.
That's what this list is.
Yes.
Home gym. How are you on the home gym? I did all right on home gym.
Home gym is sort of very casual millionaire speaking to his chauffeur.
I think the signs that you've
I
made.
don't have a home. You have a home gym?
Well, no, I've got room to do press ups, and I've got some weights in the home. And I've got one of those big Swiss balls. You know, the big inflatable balls.
Yeah, we know those.
Oh, I've got one of those.
There you go.
Everybody's got. I've got a Dame Kelly Holmes one.
That's a home gym. You've done it.
Yeah, but have you got a cricket bat signed by Stuart Broad? I have. That's the sign that you've made it.
I haven't got any cricket.
I have got one. I've got one signed by the 2005 Ashes winning team. Top that. You can't. Shut up.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're discussing how you know if you've made it on Absolute Radio this morning.
Off this list of 50, of which I think I got 4 or 5.
Did you? Oh, you got it. You're hot on my heels.
Got a cleaner. Got a pedigree dog.
I got about half, I reckon.
Oh, I haven't got a pedigree dog.
Pedigree dogs.
I had a cleaner.
Until Daniel Craig pitched. Hey, that should be a sign that you've made it.
That should be a sign that you've made it, yeah,
James
definitely.
Bond stole your cleaner.
What about if you can stand 4 foot away from a supermodel and still be disheartened by her impoliteness? Have you made it then? So you're not in awe?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Thanks.
2,000 Twitter followers. You've got to have a minimum of.
I don't. I'm not on Twitter, so that
I've got
blows
0.
me up. What about this then? Have I made it? Is it some have I made it? I was in a hotel in the north of England and I ordered smoked salmon sandwiches on brown, and the woman bought smoked salmon sandwiches on white.
And what did
I
she say?
said, well, I did want it on brown. She said, I'm sorry, I was so starstruck.
Oh.
It's a very good comeback, and I thought
So you
that's a
ate them
good
anyway.
comeback and quite flattering. And she said, yeah, if you think I'm bad now, you should have seen me when Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen come in here.
So did
I
she-
made it? No!
So did she have to go and remake the sandwiches after that?
She had to go and remake her face. No, she didn't.
Did you sign Best Love Graham Norton?
I didn't sign the sandwiches. I ate the white bread, that's what I did. Have I made it? No.
On the subject of the smoked salmon, on this list, eating lobster is on the list as
Oh,
a sign
I love-
you've made it.
Yeah, but
Eating
you've got to call it
lobster.
lobby. That's what they call it.
Does lobster bisque count? Because I find that a nice thing.
I
to
don't know
order
what
on.
that... I've
It's a
seen that a lot, but I don't... Oh, that's
It's just basically lobster soup.
I
It's
don't eat
nice.
lobster much, though, do you?
Well, it's a fight, isn't it?
What about an 89 quid turkey?
Oh, yeah.
I've made it.
Made it.
Oh, you've got that lovely turkey. I tell you what,
On
I'm
a
going to come to
voucher.
yours on Boxing Day. I've invited myself. And I hope there's some leftovers.
I've invited you. I want you to come on Boxing Day. That'd be
Some
lovely.
sandwiches
What
going.
about this, then? There is a... Are you familiar with the online game, Doctor Who Legacy?
Take a wild guess, Frank.
No.
Hang
you're
on,
not.
let me check my journal.
Have you seen me?
I must read
Well,
that.
it's a popular... You can put it on your iPhone. Don't feel you have to carry around an enormous laptop.
I'm wearing £300 cashmere. I am not familiar with the Doctor Who online game.
Yeah, it'll still be rubbish when it's been washed.
does look
Well-
heavy, to be fair.
Anyway, it's a game featuring the Doctor and
Okay.
various assistants and monsters and stuff, and they're about to add a new character to that
Who's
to that
that?
computer game. It's Perkins, the chief engineer of the Orient
Shut your
Express.
face.
So
No
I will
way.
be a character on a Doctor Who computer game. Have I made it? I think so. I'm amazed that's not on the list. Be a character on Doctor Who Legacy.
It's very
They missed
specific.
a trick with that one.
Oh, Frank, I'm actually
Yeah.
really happy for you.
Oh,
On a
how
genuine
good.
note, I'm really pleased for you.
Got
I've
with
ne-
stuff
I've
like
never
fridges
felt so
and
animated.
conservatories.
Never felt so animated.
No,
Like
indeed.
Rodgers and Hammerstein song.
Anyway, you're off. We won't see now, Al, till after Christmas.
Oh.
Merry Christmas, Al.
Merry Christmas, guys.
We love you.
Merry Christmas, Al.
And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.